Good afternoon again, everybody. Doesn't seem like a week since I did my eyes video for you to watch. This week's art lesson is going to be about drawing mouths, and just to remind you that at the end of this unit you will have drawn a portrait of somebody, making sure that you've used everything we've learnt about eyes, noses, mouths and ears to make your portrait look really realistic. I want you to either look in a mirror or look at a camera so you can see your own lips, or have a look at somebody else's lips in your house. Now, if you look at my face, my lips are halfway between my nose and my chin. But there's a bit more, I've got a bit more space between the bottom lip and my chin than my top lip and my nose. And the middle line of my lips when they're shut is really dark. If you look at my lips, the edges of my lips are directly underneath the middle of my eyeball. So that gives you a guide later on for how wide your lips should be compared to your eyes. If you look at your lips, your top lip is more in shadow. It's a bit darker than your bottom lip. That's because it sticks out a little bit further and blocks the light. Right, we're going to have a look at a photograph of some lips here, and we're going to draw them. You might like to take a photograph of your own lips or look in a mirror at your own lips, or you can copy these, or you can draw some imaginary lips. Once again, I've got two pencils, a 2B, a dark pencil, and a 2H, which is a lighter pencil, and I've got a rubber. If you don't have these two pencils, don't worry, any pencil will do. I'm going to start with my H pencil, because if I make any mistakes it's much easier to rub out. So, if you look at the shape of your lips, your bottom lip slopes down and then it's almost straight along the bottom before it curves back up again. And your top lip is what we call a bow shape. It's like an archer's bow, and it comes up to a point and then dips down underneath the middle of your nose and then goes back up again and curves down to meet the other lip at the corner. And the line between your lips where they meet isn't completely straight. In this picture it's slightly curved. It starts lower down and it gets slightly higher and it curves down, and it's not straight through the middle. It's got a little kind of waviness to it. Right, I'm going to start by drawing my top lip. Really carefully at the picture, because everyone's lips are different. Going up to that point again. I'm going to draw some little lines rather than one long line. Look really carefully and see if I'm happy. If I'm not happy, that's okay, because I can change it later on. I'm going to draw my middle line now and come up from the corner, kind of wiggle across there a bit, and then down to here. If you look carefully, the corner line of my lips actually goes further than my lips themselves. My lip stops here, but the crease comes a bit further out. Now my bottom lip. I'll draw it in little lines again, kind of a bit straight underneath, and then it curves up. I think my bottom lip might be too big here, so I'm going to rub a little bit of it out and make it a bit less big. That's better. Now if you look carefully, there's not usually a very defined line, a clear line between your lip and your skin of your chin. Often it's a bit blurry like mine is, so it's okay if you've got a kind of a a little extra line around the edge of their little shadowy line. Now once you've got your lip shape in, if you look at my lips, lips are very stretchy as they have to open up when you eat or talk, and they can, let me show you, they can really stretch, or they can make a tiny little hole when you whistle. So they need to be stretchy, and that means that they have little creases in. Let me get my camera back to the right level. It means they have little creases in. Now the creases aren't straight lines up and down, they're slightly curved and they're not really dark. So I'm going to start in the middle just like I did for my eyelashes, and I'm going to draw those lines in, slightly curved in the middle, and then as they get to the edge they kind of fan out, and it's the same on the top lip. Now these lines are really quite light. If you draw them too dark, it looks like someone's drawn on your lips with a Sharpie. Now they're pretty good for a start, but I haven't done any shading yet. And as you can see, my lips are a very different colour to my skin. They're much darker. So I'm going to use my B pencil here and to draw my middle line in, so it's a bit darker. Then I'm going to use my crosshatch shading really gently to put the colour into my lips. If you've got coloured pencils, you could use coloured pencils to do this, but try and make sure that the coloured pencils you're using match the colour of your lips. We often think that our lips are bright red, but unless we've got lipstick on, they're not. They're a kind of a pinky purple, or an orangey pink, depending on what your skin tone is like. And then underneath my bottom lip as well. Now, as you can see, the crease lines that I drew are disappearing underneath my shading. That's okay, because with my B pencil I can just draw those back on again, and it's really important that I don't draw those on too darkly, because if they're too dark it looks like someone's been there with a Sharpie. Start at your lip line and draw out to the edge. Now, just like when we drew our iris last week, I need to make sure that the line of my lips around the edges is dark enough. Not really dark, just a little bit darker than the inside colour. And you can always put a tiny bit of very light shading in around the edges. You can use a little smudge with your finger if you like to make the edge a bit lighter. There we go. Right, I'd love to see your pictures. Please send them to me, either attached to a document in the Google Classroom, or you can send them as a picture on their own, I think. I'm looking forward to doing our next art lesson next week, which will be noses. Goodbye.